outdoor preview here brought to you by our friend Isaac Nelson over at Isaac Nelson Designs. If you guys need logo work done, he does all sorts of logo designs. He designs most of our t-shirts. He does designs for Kevin Moran's for all of his YouTube thumbnails and all sorts of other stuff like that. And actually, fun fact, he just got a job. He is going to be a designer at FXR.
No shit.
Yep.
Good job to have. I like some of their new stuff they're putting out.
And he was brought in mostly to do like print ad stuff, I think is what he said. But then they were like, well, how do you feel about working on the moto side? And he was like, I don't think you understand. I'm in. So
he's like, say less.
So yeah, super pumped to have him on the team here. He helps me design stuff for TLR Coatings. He does stuff here. So yeah, great guy. Check him out. Link in the description down below. Make sure to say that we sent you. If you have a business or you're doing something online and you need, like I said, a logo designed, he's really, really good about it. So check him out. Okay, so we got the 250s. We have much more than the 450s to discuss here. So
this is going to be a very good outdoor season for 250s.
So we have three different groups here. So we have the Big Five. We have the best of the rest, and then we have our, and I'm air quoting this, our rookies to go over here. So let's start with the Big Five here. So the Big Five, these are basically the five that we think are gonna,
and I think most people would probably
agree with this.
Maybe some people would take one of them.
No, there's a whole bunch of people that are gonna disagree.
Oh yeah, right. You're right.
Here.
But I feel like throughout the industry, most people would see this five and agree with it.
Yes.
Maybe they'd take one of them, whoever you want to. But I feel like if you were to ask 10 people in the industry, 9 out of 10 of them would probably agree with this.
Yeah,
this list.
So our Big Five here for the 250 class is Hunter Lawrence, Joe Schmoda, Tom Vial, Justin Cooper, and Jeremy Martin.
Yep.
So let me start with this question because this is who we'll start with here. However you answer this question, who is the weakest out of the Big Five?
And it pains me to say this, but because he's at the end of his career,
we're going to agree on this now.
And you know it pains me because you know I'm a big fan of this. And I feel like you kind of are too.
Yes.
I feel like it's hard not to be a fan of this guy. It's got to be Jeremy Martin.
Jeremy Martin.
God, that hurts so bad because he's been one of my favorites for such a long time.
I like the guy. He is a
fucking warrior,
a bulldog, a dominant outdoor rider. This is not the Jeremy Martin pre-back injury.
No.
We'll just go with that.
No, and it really sucks too because for the most part, he made it through most of Supercross healthy.
Yep.
He did. AC thing, did most of the laps.
Yes.
Had some good rides. Obviously, he got it handed to him, but that heat race win in Detroit was cool. He's got on the box at the Triple Crown in a main. But this is just the end of J-Mart's career, man.
I think he's going to be the most, I don't know, that's hard to say too. He's going to be very consistent. But what is consistent with the Big Five here? Does he win? Let me ask you, does he win motos?
I think if he's going to win any motos this year, it's going to be at Redbud.
Not Millville.
No, because if you look at his Millville record, it's not as good as you would think it is.
Okay.
It's not like he wins a bunch. It's not like Ryan Dungey at Millville. It's not like he's won a bunch at Millville.
Okay.
I think it's going to be Redbud if he wins anywhere. I think he's going to be really good because he's still a bulldog. He's not going to get tired. We've all heard it. Like Ricky says it all the time. Like, dude, he might be one of the most physically fit dudes.
He knows how to suffer.
Yeah, he loves to suffer. He fucking, unlike Troll,
yes,
he loves to suffer. But this is kind of where A-Mart was, and we've talked about this. I think J-Mart's going to wind out this year in the 250s. Mm-hmm. He's going to ride 450s next year just to say he did it like Big Al.
Yeah.
And then he's done.
And this is something that's been discussed a lot on Gypsy Tales recently. It's so ridiculous because you have Supercross and Motocross are so different, and you make these guys do both of them. And this is something that I hope the tides start to turn here as the World Supercross grows a little bit, is you're going to get Supercross specialists and Motocross specialists, because Alex Martin and Jeremy Martin are two guys very, very prime of like, they're not Supercross guys.
No, they've had their moments, and J-Mart has won mains, but he is an outdoor guy.
But it's like, man, if you could have done outdoor-only deals like in America compared to like, I mean, they could have gone to GPs or whatever, but obviously most American guys don't want to go.
Well, and I don't think Big Al and
gallivanting.
J-Mart would fit.
Are world travelers.
Yeah,
No, they're not.
not.
But it's like, if you could have done him and his brother to just outdoor only deals, man, their careers could go on till they were in their 35. Yeah, and they could win a bunch. And but it's just he's been so riddled with injuries for and then you have that incident with Jay Coop there where he hurts his back a couple years ago, and he came back and he battled with Jet there.
Yeah, and I was just about to say, like, remember too, before he like hurt himself again, he was going into that season hurt, and then he hurt himself again at Thunder Valley. He was leading the points.
Yeah.
And then he came back and he had that crazy battle with Jet at Iron Man and gets hurt there.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, it pains me to say that because I've been on the J-Mart bandwagon for such a long time.
Yep.
But it's like he's been hurt too many times since 2018.
He's just not the same guy.
And you can't, at some point, you can't overcome it. And once again, J-Mart's no spring chicken.
No.
He's been doing this for a long fucking time, guys.
Yep.
He's 29. He's going to be 30, and he's been pro since 2012.
Yeah.
I think it's been.
Yeah.
We're in 2023 now, so it's like, man, he just...
Dude, I mean, his titles were 13 and 14. Like, that's 7 years ago.
So it's like, man... But I think he's going to be the weak link. Can J-Mart go out?
I'm sorry, that's like 9 years ago.
Yeah,
9 and 10 years ago. It's insane to think about.
He can go out and win motos, of course, because this is Jeremy Martin. Because when Jeremy Martin's feeling it, he still can be the fastest 250 dude in the world.
He's going to battle with these guys and be...
He's going to make... Look.
As stated, thorn in the side and weakest link.
He's going to make it. He's going to make things annoying for them.
Yes.
Because he's still too fast on an outdoor track.
Yep.
But as far as winning a title... No. When that last time getting hurt in 2021 outdoors, the few times, because he got hurt like 3 times that year.
Yeah.
It just, that put a nail in the coffin for him, and it just, it sucks.
Yep.
But yeah, I think he's going to be, and weak length is also a relative term, because let's be real, he's still going to be better than everyone else.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, so let's move from J-Mart to what I think is probably the biggest question mark out of the Big Five, Justin Cooper.
Swag.
I mean, he's got swag, but here's the thing. Like, he goes out, he races a few 450 races, which is super weird as to, with Dylan going out, why they did not keep him doing 450s. Because all that was going to do is make his stock go up. And then, he has to be foaming at the mouth the most because, like, think about it. He did well with the field stacked. Think about what he would have been doing at the end, the last few rounds here.
His last race, he got a 6th,
yeah.
Right? Like, dude, he did it when it was still, stacked.
He would have probably been a podium 450 guy at the end of the year.
Easy.
And then, dude, he
probably would have podiumed in Salt Lake.
Yeah, and then think about what his stock would be like for next year.
I think there was just so much emphasis on him trying to win this outdoor title. I'll tell you what, man. He's definitely going to become the most prepared he's ever been coming into outdoors. Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the thing with Jay Coop, and it's the only thing, and we've talked about this plenty of times, not just on this show. Jace is talking about it. Coach, Cooksey, Pulp, everybody's talked about it. Jay Coop has got to figure out a way that when he doesn't get starts...
to go through the pack.
To bully through the pack.
Yep.
He has got to figure out a way to pull his head out of his ass when he gets 10th place starts.
Yep.
Because here's the thing, and then there's got to be a stat on this, and I think even we just mentioned this. The disparity between when he gets starts as opposed to when he doesn't has got to be the biggest
huge
gap ever of someone of his caliber.
And here's the problem. You have a start god in Tom Vial there.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
And Hunter's now got his starts figured out, too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, dude, I'll tell you this. He's not coming through the pack with this field at 10th place anymore.
No.
If he gets a start, though, game fucking on. MX of Nations, and it's crazy we say all the stuff we do about MX of Nations, but what he did for us, because let's be real, he won that race for us. Because he was supposed to be the wake length, and he comes in and he's like... Fuck you, guy. Dude, he was great that weekend. I mean, he made everybody in the 250 class his bitch.
He did. He was so good, which is impressive.
And even Hunter. I mean, dude. But he's got to figure his starts out, man. He's got to figure his starts out. And because here's the thing, too, and we're not going to get all super prideful right here. He's the only American that has a shot to win this title.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't get his figured out, it's going to be a Euro. It's going to be across the pond 1, 2, 3. Not Euro. Across the pond 1, 2, 3 again.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. I'm not that worried about it.
No. But but there are people that like,
there are.
He's got to figure it out, man. Because if he does, he's in this title hunt. But if he can't get his starts figured out, I'm sorry, dude. He's not coming through the pack. Because there's 3 guys that are going to walk him. He's got to get it figured out. I would like to believe that if he gets his starts figured out, he can make this a 4-way battle. But man, dude, I don't know why he can't come through the pack.
Yeah, I don't know what
I don't
his deal
get
is
it.
either.
As good as he is.
It's like Ryan Dungey falls into the...
But how weird is it, though? Because remember there was a time where he was getting starts all the time?
Yeah.
And then just all of a sudden his starts went to shit.
To me, it's funny because he's like the new age Ryan Dungey.
Yeah.
He's just so vanilla. Of like... But then you look at like his podium percentage and all that crap like that. I mean, it's like when we were comparing him to Savacci and you were like, there's no way he's even close. I'm like, dude, he's got X amount more podiums than Savacci.
And then how crazy to even to look back at 2021 after J-Mart got hurt and Jay Coop really started to find his stride. Dude, until Washougal broke his hand, he was beating Jet in the points.
Yeah, he was doing really well.
So it's like we talk about with Jet and this and that, but it's like, dude, Jay Coop almost beat Jet Lawrence for an outdoor title.
Yeah, and we have major, I mean, just like everyone, we have major recency biased with him of it's like, well, we haven't really seen him because he raced those few Supercross and then he was gone again. I don't know. He's a big question mark for me here. We'll see. He's, like you said, he's going to be the most prepared he is.
If he gets, okay, I'll ask this because if he gets starts in your mind with these next three, this is the contender list. Is he more contender or more pretender even if he gets starts? If you could have a crystal ball and it would tell you Jay Coop's going to be top 5 every moto this year.
I don't think that's really I don't think that's far-fetched, to be honest with you.
Be a contender or a pretender?
No, to be top 5 every moto.
On a starts? No, on the starts.
Oh, on the start.
No. I'm saying like if you had a crystal ball at the end of the year that told you Jay Coop is going to get top 5 every moto off the line.
Yeah.
Is he more of a contender for the title or is he still a little bit more on the pretender side? Hypothetically.
I think he's contender if he can get in the top 5 start.
Okay.
All the time.
Because I agree with that. Speed is not his issue.
Okay.
It's just for whatever reason I don't know what it is. I don't know if he just forgets how to work. Like I don't know if he just forgets how to pick lines.
I don't know how to ride through traffic.
I don't know how to. Dude, I don't have. I buy racecraft, so I don't know what I'm doing over here.
Go. We gotta send him to local races and just have him start and just try to lap everybody.
Yeah, I know.
Twice.
Just fucking. I don't know. Start in the pits.
Yeah, something like that.
I just don't get it, man.
I don't know. Like he's gonna be there. Don't get me wrong. He's gonna win motos. I think.
Because look at last year at the end of the year. Like, dude, there were motos like he was really, really good, and there was other motos where it's like, what the fuck is Jay Coop doing?
Yeah. So I don't know. He's up there. He's in the big 5.
He is.
But there's like him and J-Mart are big question marks in the big 5, and then the last 3 we got to talk about here is where I think the real title contention comes from. All right. So next up, let's talk Joe Schmoda because we've only seen him race a couple of races here. Obviously, he did the last couple of Supercrosses or whatever, but dude, he was fucking good at those last couple Supercrosses. So,
and let's be honest,
we're gonna get fried in the comments here because everybody's gonna be like, "Well, he hasn't fucking really done much."
Well, I think you guys, if anybody that says that, I think you guys need to go back and watch Outdoors starting at Redbud because he was easily the second best dude, and I'd be like, "Well, he didn't get second in the points." Look, bros. The only reason he got third in the points last year is because Hunter decided to torpedo him at the last round.
Yeah.
He made Hunter his bitch last year, and he was better than Jet in a few rounds too.
Yeah.
Joe, he's another one of those guys, man. You look at him and you're like, outside of his technique, I think being absolutely atrocious. Dude, he's so solid.
Yeah.
He has found his footing in this world. He has found his footing as a professional motocross rider. I know there were a few years where you're like, is Joe really going to do anything? Like, is he really good? Because he was just like an 8th to 12th guy.
Yeah.
Couldn't ride Supercross for shit. Well, I say that in relative terms as opposed to everybody else's counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
And he figured it out, man.
He did.
Dude, cardio machine.
Mm-hmm.
Outright speed.
Yep.
Sprint speed. Starts are good. I tried to think about this at the end of the season after Redbud, and I tried to think about what were his flaws, and I could not really come up with what were his flaws, other than there were days where Jet was just being Jet.
Yeah.
Because outside of that, I mean, I asked you the same question. What were his flaws outside of the days of Jet just being Jet?
Yeah, he was really solid from Redbud on last year. Really, really solid.
I mean, dude, remember that first moto Ironman when he ripped a hole, after he didn't rip a hole? No, it was the second moto. I'm sorry, ripped the start and just set sail, just gapped everybody.
Yeah.
So it's like,
here's the thing: does he pay back Hunter?
I think he owes one. I think they were all.
I know he owes one.
I think they were.
Does he
Yes. I think they were all chummy after Hunter won the title, and he was respectful because he's still friends with Jet, and they still have the same agent. Although it is going to be weird, though, because he is going to Honda next year. So, no. Maybe he doesn't pay him back, because I think that'll be a weird thing, even though Hunter's going to be on the 450 side.
Yeah.
Joe's just going to be really good this season, man. God. Yep. But here's another question we asked with the 450s. This one's going to be a lot harder to figure out who's going to win overalls and motos, because I think there's just going to be a revolving door of one weekend and the next.
I think so, too.
And here's the crazy thing, too, is, we had this for the last couple of years with Jet. We even had it with J-Mart. And, even going back to Dylan and AC, there were tracks that guys were just overly better at.
Yeah.
I'm looking through the list, and outside of, like, Redbud and Millville for J-Mart, there's no tracks on here that stand out as any one of these guys being, like, that much better.
Yeah, well, here's the thing we don't know. What the fuck Vial's going to do.
Yeah.
This is the real wild card in all this,
Yeah.
is Vial made it through Supercross okay.
Well, and we might as well just go into him.
Yeah, we can. So, I have videos of him riding.
He's fucking
He was at Paris the other day, and Isaac was out there.
Well,
so I have legit videos, and I have an interview from him.
Dude, and I imagine you've seen the videos from Racer X and Vital. And there's videos of, like, him, Joe. It's basically him and Joe. But, like,
they were all at Paris, yeah.
He looks better than Joe.
He looks good.
He looks
good.
And he made it through Supercross. Yes, he had a couple moments. Knock on wood, he didn't get hurt.
Yep.
And everybody likes to go, well, look back to Kenny and Marv and Dylan or whatever. I go, well, here's the thing. Those guys didn't make it through Supercross unscathed. Like, yeah, you're always beat up, but those guys had some injuries going into their first outdoor seasons over here. And also with Kenny and Marv, this KTM's a lot better than that KTM that those guys were dealing with. Man, and that's another thing. The one knock for me on Vial, and I can say this because I am a big Tom Vial fan. I've watched him through his GP career, and I said this during Supercross. He has this tendency when he gets out front, and it's not like a Chase Sexton thing where he just, like, is going off instinct. He has these times where he's so far out front, and he gets really lackadaisical. Like, he starts taking lines that he's never taken before for no reason whatsoever. Not that the lines he was using aren't working or they're breaking down really. He starts going into different lines. You can clearly tell he's not pushing through sections. That was his only knock as a GP guy, is where he just had those moments where you're like, is he even trying anymore? And not in the sense of, like, he makes it look effortless. Like, literally, he's not trying anymore. But I don't think that's going to be his issue over here, because I think he has something to prove.
Does he whole shot all 22 motos?
20 out of 22.
Okay.
No, in all honesty, man, Tom, and people can call me a French fan, homer, whatever, that's fine. But Tom is just, he's so good. He's a 2-time world champ for a reason. His starts are good. And everybody's like, well, you got to go into, like, oh, the humidity. Well, I'm pretty sure, I think both him and Dylan are from the same part of France. I'm not a geography guy, but I think it's pronounced Avion. I think it's northern France. I think. Heat's not going to be an issue for him because I know it does get pretty hot in northern France.
Yeah.
He's also been training going back and forth between the Baker's factory in California.
I think he's in California right now, obviously.
But he's been in Florida, so he's getting adapted to it. So then the only other question you go is, well, everybody goes the on-track time. You don't have as much time over here. Tom Vial's a very smart guy.
He's a pro, dude.
Exactly.
Like, I understand that we always talk about that, but
he also got Supercross. Granted, he wasn't as great, but he got Supercross figured out fairly quickly, other than the whoops, because that was really his only downside was the whoops. I think he's going to be fine. Man, he's so fucking good. Fucking good. Yeah, it's going to be really hard to bet against him because, once again, the thing that he has that the other guys don't is he already has 2 cheapy outdoor titles. And he's also not a kid. I mean, he's a kid compared to us, but he's 22 turning 23.
Yeah.
He's 23 turning 24 because he outaged the rule over there. He's not a kid. He's not like Kenny when he came over here when he was like a teenager still.
Yep.
So he knows how to win races. And he knows how to win championships. And that's the thing is, the moment is never going to be too big for him.
No.
Not that it's saying it's going to be too big for Hunter.
Him winning this title this year would not even raise my eyebrows. I'd be like, yep.
I don't think anybody would be, because that's all we.
If anybody was surprised, I'd be like, man, why
you're
not
really
surprised?
paying attention.
Yeah,
and that's the thing too is, man, he was at a time with KTM where he trained with Hurlings. He grew up around Prado. He battled with Gertz for 2 titles. He battled with Max. He actually battled for 3 titles because he could have won 2021 when he was battling Maxime Renault, and we all know how good Renault is.
Yep.
So it's like you could have looked at a 3-time champ because he also got hurt quite a few times throughout those championships. So, yeah, if you're looking at Vial going, nah, you're not really paying attention. And I don't know. The kid's really, really good.
Yeah. And then we move on to Hunter.
What do you got?
Hunter has that dog in him.
He does.
That could win this title. And honestly, I think he needs to win this title because this is going to sound terrible.
No, it's probably going to be accurate.
I can't say this about, it's hard to say this about my best friend. This could be the last title that Hunter wins.
Ever? You think so? Well, yeah, he is.
If he goes 450 full-time next year, this could be the last title Hunter wins.
Yeah, you got a point.
Because I don't see him
Excuse me.
doing that in the 450s. Maybe, but it's like it's a minor chance.
Well, then you also look at the fact, though, of going to the 450 because, he's going to have to deal with his brother again, Chase. And then you also have to look at the fact of is when Vial and Shimoda decide to go 450s. And so it's like, not to say that he's not as good as those guys. Obviously, he's on this list for a reason, but you like, Vial's probably going to be really good on a 450. Joe will figure out how to be good on a 450.
Yeah. Hunter,
Jay Coop's already proved he's good on a 450.
Hunter's got that dog in him, but man, once you get to the 450 class, it's a completely different thing. Like I said, I think this is his chance to win what could be his final American, which is weird to say. Like, it's weird.
I think his biggest thing
because he just won his first American title.
So my two things with Hunter that I have, as far as what he has to do with this title, is first off, he can't make enemies. Because it's Supercross. It was one thing, Nate, whatever. He was just kind of like with Jet, leaps and bounds, better than everybody else. You know, I have my feelings. Nate challenged him, but he was going to win that title no matter what, whatever. But outdoors, you got a lot of other dudes that are just as good as you, if not better.
In Supercross, it was like, man, he's so much better than everybody else. Then you get here, and it's like,
you can't be bouncing off people and getting into it with Styles Robertson. You can't do that, dude. You got to be above that.
Yeah.
And the second thing, and maybe he's over this now. He's got the title. He didn't have any of his moments in Supercross, which was my only thing when we did our preview. And it's not like he has a bunch of those moments, but those moments have seemed to cost him in his outdoor title hopes. There's weekends that he just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's very few and far between. So I'm not saying this is like a reoccurring thing. But since 2021, there's been weekends where Hunter just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
And I know you can't be on unless you're Ricky Carmichael every weekend, but you're not going to be able to have those weekends where you're getting fifth to win this title. You just can't do it. And like I said, maybe he's over it. He's got this title now. He's got a newfound sense of confidence. Not that confidence was ever his issue, but we know. But you can't show up to Southwick and go 5'9" or 5'8" or whatever it was.
I was going to say, here's the thing. So he went whatever. He had rides like that last year, and it's like now you've got Vial. You
got another season of Joe Shimoda. Jay Coop's coming in healthy. You know, RJ, we'll get to him in a minute. Sometimes RJ, we can talk about it with RJ, whatever. You have another year with Levi Kitchen. Seth Hammaker is going to have more out. You're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah.
You just, and like I said, it's not like this is a problem with Hunter, but you can't have him at all though this time.
And maybe he comes in with the newfound swag after winning that Supercross title of like, I'm the fucking man, and doesn't have those issues. But if he does, man, this could be rougher than what I think he wants it to be for outdoors, because I do think he's coming in like, I'm the guy. And there's a lot of people, pundits in the industry, that are talking like, he's the odds-on favorite. And I'm like, okay, that I can't argue that per se, but man, there's other because even in our best of the rest here, there is 1, 2.
There's guys that have won motos on that list.
Yeah. So it's like,
and there's also a guy that just had his best Supercross season that's going to be confident that we know can balls to the wall speed. So and that's the thing is too. Once again, we take it with Joe. Joe was better than Hunter last year through half the season. Vial's a 2-time champ. J Mart at any moment can click one off. J Coop, we know, can battle for titles.
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, it's not just going to be you, your brother, and then Joe every now and then. Like, it's going to be a war this year.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this, because we've gone through now our big 5. Before we move on, who's your title pick out of those 5?
It's got to be Vial.
Okay.
It's got to be. I will say this. If Hunter or Joe won the title, I would not be shocked.
Okay.
But because of everything I said, it's kind of like what I said with Chase. I can't say the things that I said about Vial and then not pick him for the title. Is it a huge gap? Hell no, dude. It is like razor fucking thin.
Yeah.
but it's got to be Vial just because of the fact that he knows how to win world championships. The moment is not going to be too big. And his fucking starts are better than everybody else in this class, which we know that if you're that deep and your starts, dude, he's not going to be coming from 10th, which we can't say the same for some of these other guys.
Yeah.
If you're starting third at worst and Chance Hymas is in front of you, nothing against Chance Hymas, Vial's not going to have a problem with getting around Chance Hymas.
No.
So, like, that's the thing is, it's got to be Vial, but it's razor thin.
Yeah. So just to be, well, not just to be different than you, it's hard to argue with picking. I'm going to go with Hunter.
Yeah, which is...
And number 2 is because I want to see Honda win all 5 titles this year.
That'd be crazy. It's 2 Honda guys. That'd be awesome.
It'd be so awesome.
It'd be very... And that's the thing. I can't disagree with that because if Hunter does, it's like, oh, Hunter is still Hunter Lawrence for a reason.
Yeah. It's really if any of these guys
But if
won,
Joe won it, and if J. Coop won it, would you be shocked?
No.
Like,
if any of these guys won, we'd be like, okay.
Yeah, because one of them is a 2-time GP champ, one of them is a 2-time outdoor champ. J. Coop's battled with the best for outdoor titles. Hunter just won a Supercross title. Joe is the only one that you're like, well, he hasn't been there, but like, holy shit, was he good last year?
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if Joe like got the points lead. Like,
what could he do?
How it worked? Like, would he falter? Whatever. I don't know. So okay, so that's our big 5. So now we'll move on to our best of the rest here. So we'll start with RJ.
Made it through Supercross, and he had
made
his
it through
best
Supercross.
And I think you would agree he's probably more of an outdoor guy.
I'm going to give him he probably wins an overall and he wins some motos. I don't think it's going to be a lot because there's a lot of dudes.
Yeah.
There. There's a lot of talent in that big 5
Even
there.
in the best of the rest, there's a lot of guys that could do well.
Yeah, so I think he'll do well. But here's the thing, too. We've all seen it. He's fucking Sendy. So, like...
He is Sendy.
So
like,
you give him a start.
Rutherford style.
Yeah. So you give him a start, dude, and he is gonna...
He's gonna send it.
Yep, until he either ragdolls or wins, So,
and actually, I'll ask this after we get to the end of the best of the rest. I'll wait to ask this question. But he did make it through Supercross healthy.
Yeah.
And you know that's a confidence boost for him because he had his best season because that's what he said at the beginning of the season after he won. Dude, I just want to be there at the end.
Yeah.
And granted, he wasn't there at the end of points, but man, there were times where you're like, man, he actually can challenge Jet on some nights. Granted, he kicked it in overdrive. He couldn't, but nobody expected that. But he's like, holy shit. Like, he beat Jet quite a few times in the heat races, beat him in one main, a couple Triple Crowns. But nobody expected that out of RJ.
No.
Like, if you'd have told me he beat Jet at all, I'd have been like, no fucking way. But he did. And he did it fair and square. And it's like, okay, that's got to be a confidence boost for him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But he is Sendy. It's like
RJ is the one guy that can send himself to that next level. Now, how long that lasts before he ragdolls, that's a question, whether he gets the checker flag or not. But he is the one guy that, like, if these big 5 go to the next level here, he can go there he can send himself to that next level. He's not going to always ride that next level, but he can send himself.
Hey, RJ, just roll your bars forward like 2 millimeters.
Yeah, so I don't really know. Like I said, I think he will win at least a moto. I think he'll get an overall.
Where do you think? Where would
I don't know. I don't have any fucking clue, man. Because
I would say it's got to be Redbud because he's already done it there at least once.
Yeah.
I actually didn't realize this. He won the overall at Redbud back-to-back years, 2019 and 2020.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. I saw it in the stat and I'm like,
yeah.
Damn.
But
it's hard.
He's too inconsistent to be in the big 5.
I tell you what though, that if he makes it through this outdoor season without a wild, like a wild get off, he's finally going to get himself over the hump, though, of being the consistency because he didn't Supercross. Now he's got to do it in outdoors. Well, if he does it in outdoors, you're like, okay, this is good moving forward because a lot of the big names.
I think in RJ's case, and again, our stats are probably all fucked up, but I think in RJ's case, if he busts into the top 5 in points with these guys without anybody going out, if they're all healthy by the end of the year for that big 5 we talked about, if he busts in that top 5, dude, to me, that's a win for him.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Because that's a lot of outdoor talent he's getting in between there. So
yes.
All right, Hammaker. When is he coming back? He's in
for Paula.
Okay, cool.
I think he's been riding for a month and a half now.
Okay, and this is another guy that like he can fucking win.
Oh, he's already proven it, and
he's got the speed as long as Kitchen or who was it last year? Who was it that they tangled at that one race in the second corner or something?
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't it Kitchen?
Might have been. It might have been. I think it was a Yamaha. It was a Yamaha.
Yeah, it was
he made it through healthy. He proved last year the Epstein Barr was not an issue. An issue.
So
we know that, and he's also, even when he hasn't had the speed to win, he's still been in the top 5. He got he got really good starts last year. He was battling up front. I think that Hammaker, I think him and then the next two guys we're going to talk about all have the possibility to win motos. That's why we say the best of the rest.
Yes.
It's going to be very, very hard. But would it shock me if Hammaker went out at Paula and he got on the box? No, because he's already proven he can do that. I mean, for God's sakes, he went out and fucking was the fastest dude at Paula last year.
He's got the speed to do it, man, but he just lacks consistency and being able to stay healthy. That's all there is to it.
That's all his issue.
And like last year with that whole incident with the star guy, whoever it was, I don't even remember. Well, like that wasn't his fault.
No.
That was that star guy came through that corner weird or something. I remember that.
And then the big get off at Dilla.
Yes.
That was his 2 moments.
Yep.
But dude, Seth, like, he was solid last year, man. He was a solid top 10 guy, top 5 on a lot of occasions, up front, running. He led laps. I mean, dude, what was it? Was it High Point that he led for like 15 minutes or something? I think it was.
Till Hunter and Jet got
Yeah, but I mean, dude, he was making it hard for Hunter and Jet for 15 minutes. So speed is not his issue. It's just he's got to get. But once again,
so he's good, and this is again, like you said, like you're about to say, recency bias.
Yeah,
of like we haven't seen him ride since outdoors.
And
last
the crazy
year.
thing is the thing he's been pro since 2021. 2021? No.
Yeah,
2021 because him and Thrasher. It's not like he's had a lot of actual track time.
No.
Like he's been hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So if he can get over the hump of just shit happening to him, this kid has a very high ceiling. It's just it's kind of like with the confidence thing. You got to get over the hump. You got to make it through it. Know your body can do it. And sky's the limit for this kid. Like, dude, if he gets to that point, this kid eventually could be a champion in one day in the 250 class. He has all the tools, all the talent.
Yeah.
It's just he's got to be healthy.
Yep. So we'll see. All right. So Kitchen
won moto last year.
Yeah.
Battled with Jet for a good 20 minutes at Southwick, and then Jet said, "See ya." Had a great Supercross season. Got third in the points. Bike skills for days.
He's another one of those, like, he made it through Supercross. So we'll see how this goes. He's so reminiscent of Plessinger.
Oh, yeah.
Reminds me so much of him.
So much bike skills, dude. When you watch him, you're like, he might as well just be, like, picking the bike up and walking around with it. Because you're like, the things that he can do with his lower body to pop up and over shit.
Here's the one thing that I'm kind of like, what's going to happen is we all know he's leaving Star.
He's going to PC.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
how much effort does he have?
How much effort does he have? How many resources are the team giving him? Like,
because we know Star.
Like when you're leaving, they
like,
tend to cut. We won't say they take parts off the bike.
Yeah,
okay?
we won't say
but
that.
They cut resources back.
We won't say they take parts.
You're
off
not getting the testing time that the guys who are staying there are. Yeah, I mean, I think there's potential there again to win motos and overalls, but
he's the same thing as Hammaker, man.
Yeah.
He has all the talent in the world to be a 250 champion. And he's just, if anything, man, he is so fun to watch ride. And here's another thing I love about him. He doesn't fucking care what the name on the back of your jersey. Look how many times he ran it in on he wasn't like, oh, I'm going to but he's like, hey, bro, I'm here too.
I'm still upset he didn't jump the leap his rookie year there.
I remember
me and him are still fighting about that.
I will say this, though. If he's healthy by then, the one round that I think he's going to be extra motivated to win is Washougal.
Yes.
Home track.
Yep.
I don't even remember if he raced Washougal last year.
I don't remember either.
I don't think he did because I think he was hurt.
We should have done way more research on this shit
well,
before
you know,
we
it
got
is what
started.
it is. That's what's good about our show. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah, we're just talking.
We're just winging it. You know, whatever.
So,
we're just making up shit. Very, very good, though. Would it shock me if he goes out and wins a moto, wins an overall? Hell no. I mean, dude, he won Thunder Valley last year, sick as a dog.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thing is like, if you ask me, like, okay, where does he slot in as far as all this? He's top 10 guy, but it's like there's days he's going to run 10th, and there's days he's going to hole shot and lead for 25 minutes.
And let's be real with this list, because I think you could look way through this list and go, to even be top 10 this year at a 250 National is going to be an accomplishment in itself.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's going to be a lot of times where 95% of the top 10 in the 250 class is going to put faster laps in than the 95% of the top 10 in the 450 class.
The 250 class is going to be the class to watch here.
Oh, my God, dude. It's going to be...
outside of, like, the top 3 and 450s.
But even then, though, I think there's going to be times where the battles, even though it's not going to be as intense of what the top 450 guys are going to be, the battles back are going to be way longer,
way.
Yeah.
Like thank goodness for the 250 class because it's going to make things more interesting.
Oh, my God, dude. It's going to be a war
Yeah.
for 22 motos.
100%. So, all right, moving on. Max Volan.
What do you think?
I am going to question his
commitment.
Yeah, for the summer here, because we all know he's leaving too and going to Star, which is super interesting.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother.
It's weird.
It's a whole nother conversation in and of
really
itself.
Weird. Really weird.
Yeah. So I question the commitment and the performance he's going to put in for KTM here, because let's put it this way: I don't think Raj is talking to him like at all. His testing time is probably real low,
especially after what happened in the last round of Supercross.
But like, here's the thing: you look at like last year, and he comes out in outdoors, and he's like top 5 guy, which like nobody was really expecting.
Leading laps,
yeah, like leading laps. So like he could, because like his Supercross, even though he had moments this year, was better, and he made it through.
Yeah,
like he did make it through. He didn't make every Supercross like he should have, but he did make it through. So like, I don't know. He's probably he's one of 2 big question marks I have here in this best of the rest group. Of it's like, he can go out and he can fucking win a moto, and I'll be like, okay. He could
like
go
Paula.
out. Yeah, he'd go out and he'd get 15th in a moto, and I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, because it's just one of those things, man. Like, I was very critical of Max Volan when he went pro, because I think they bumped him up too early, but we've all heard the story.
we all know.
We're not going to talk about that. But God, dude, if he's proven anything, man, he can rip outdoors. He has the speed to run up front. He's got the starts.
Yep.
It's just going to be one of those things that the pace that you're gonna have to go to win a moto this year outdoors in the 250s. Is he really going to want to do that with him leaving and going to Star next year? Is he really going to want to, if he's got Tom Viel hounding him, or he's got Hunter or Joe or Jay Coop, is he really going to want to go to that level?
Yeah.
For an entire 35 minutes? And that's the question mark with him. Is does he want to? Because if he's committed to it and he's like, yeah, I'm leaving, I don't really give a shit, I still want to do well, then hell yeah, this kid could be top 5 when he wants to be. But it's like, man, you are going to have to go to such a high level to win a moto this year in the 250 class that it's like some of these guys just aren't going to be mentally strong enough to do it. So, so the last thing I'll say about that, the best of the rest, and I think you already...
We've got a couple more guys here.
Oh, you just want to factor in not the tier 3, just put those tier 3 guys in there?
No, we have a few more guys in our best of the rest here.
Who do we put in there then?
Michael Mosman. I didn't even know he was riding until I saw some video of him the other day, and he's my second big question mark. I don't have any idea. From what I understand, he's off the team at the end of the year. I haven't heard anything about a deal for him anywhere else at this point. I don't know.
The wild thing about Michael Mosman, and I feel like we've been saying this whole like list of best of the rest, we know Michael Mosman can win motos. We know he can lead laps. Like, how many times last year did he blow a lead?
Yeah.
Like, but you just don't know. And I've seen the videos, same thing as you. Like, he looked pretty good. He looked okay. Like, whatever. Like, normal Michael Mosman stuff. But once again, is he going to do Mosman things? Is he going to be out front? Because here's the thing.
I have a fucking clue, man.
He could rip a start at hang time like he did last year and just be leading for 25 minutes and then just knife the front end.
Yeah.
And then get like 7th. Or he could be leading a high point and just tip over in a corner and get 12th. Like, what is he going to do? And, you know, I know that on the show we're pretty critical of some guys, and some people would say, oh, you're a little too hard on him. But Michael Mosman, I think, is a perfect example of you need to be hard on that guy, because if that kid could get his shit together.
Yeah, but, man, I don't know. Whatever the injuries are he's had, whether it's back, head, whatever, it was pretty gnarly. So again, most people, from what I understand at this point, they're like, we don't even know if he's going to ride next year. And I didn't know he was going to ride outdoors, to be honest with you, until I literally saw the videos, and they're like, yeah, he's riding outdoors. Okay.
Yeah, it's Pierce Brown that's going to be off for a little bit.
I was going to say, huge question mark for me as far as, like, what the hell are we even going to get? Is he going to be in the top 20?
I think he'll be in the top 20 because I think he's just too talented. I think it's going to be a struggle bus for him. And if the injury that he's got going on, whatever the hell it is not a nagging thing, I think eventually you'll see him creep his way up into the top 10 because he's just too fast. But I just don't know what you get with Michael Mosman.
I don't
It's the
either.
same thing at Supercross. Like, dude, now granted, we now know that the injury was the issue, and we were like, what the fuck is going on with Mosman?
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the same guy as last year. Because last year the guy was battling with Christian Craig and Hunter
I was going to
Lawrence.
say, it was a back, neck, something, and it was way gnarlier than what anybody told anybody.
I'll say this. Mosman will probably have his moments, but the other 95% of the time, he's just going to do Michael Mosman things, and you're going to get so frustrated because you're like, if this kid could figure his shit out.
Yeah, but this is highly probable from what I'm hearing that this could be the last time we see him race pro racing, period.
Which is super unfortunate because you want to talk about a kid that had such a bright future.
Yeah.
Because he still is a kid.
But he's too smart to do this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he probably should go work at a college somewhere or something.
Yeah, so, all right, Jordan Smith. We haven't seen him ride outdoors for a couple of years, so...
Yeah, I honestly can't even remember. I tried to think about this the last time what he rode outdoors, and it had to have been the TLD KTM days when he was number 44.
Yeah.
Personally, I don't even remember. Like, I know Jordan. I like Jordan. I've said this plenty of times. Everybody who knows me knows I'm a Smitty fan. He's just like Supercross, really, really fast, gets in his own way. But I don't even remember like what his outdoor results were up until he like got hurt and not rode outdoors.
He's another one of those guys that like he could win a moto and I'd be like, okay. He could get 15th or he could crash in a moto and get a DNF and I'd be like, yeah, okay.
Because I mean that's kind of like what he does in Supercross.
I think he's gonna do Jordan Smith things, to be honest with you. I think he's gonna be there. There are gonna be days where we're gonna get done with qualifying and he's gonna be half a second faster than these guys. And then there are going to be other days that he is going to struggle to get top 15 because he's just going to have tip over after tip over, or days, like I said, he's going to be pushing to stay up front and he's going to ragdoll himself into the ground like Jordan Smith does. And you're just going to be like, oh.
So this isn't the question that I was going to allude to. But since him and Mosman, since I thought we were going to do the third tier, but since we might as well just do them.
We're going to do the third tier.
Okay. So between him and Mosman, because they're kind of the same guy, they have their same issues. Not the same issues in the sense of what they do, but they just get in their own way sometimes. Who is more likely to get a moto win out of those two?
Oh, Jordan Smith, 100%.
You think so? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Smith's season is going to be far and away way better than
But
mine.
you think if they're both clicking at the same time, if they're just on it, you still think Smith has a better chance of winning a moto?
Honestly, my eyebrows would be way more raised if Mosman does something than if Smith does. If Smith does, I'm just going to be like, well, yeah.
My biggest thing with Smitty is because he has not raced outdoors in a long time. How committed is he going to be to suffering in the middle of the summertime? That's my biggest question with him.
Yeah.
Because all the other shit, you're just like, that's just who Jordan Smith is.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to be really fast. Like you said, he's going to struggle to be top 15. That's not my question with him. That question's already answered. That's not a question anymore. Is he hasn't raced outdoors. God, it feels like it's since like 2018. I might be off on that. Maybe it's been earlier than that, but I feel like 2018. How committed is he going to be suffering when it's the middle of summertime and it's 100 degrees out?
I don't know.
That'd be my biggest question with him. Because if he's not committed, it's just going to be a fuck it year. But if he's committed, he's going to have his moments because he always does.
All right, last guy in our best of the rest segment here, Guillaume Ferez. And for anyone who doesn't remember, he rode for Star last summer too.
Yep, out of nowhere.
GP or MX? No, what is it?
He was EMX 250.
EMX 250 kid. Yep. And then all of a sudden he was over here racing Star. Now, from what I understand, and I think you told me this, he's going to race Supercross next year. So next year he'll be around all year.
Yep.
Has he been racing EMX right now? Is that what?
No, he's been over here just riding outdoors.
Oh, just training with Jay. Like him and Jay Coop just motoing down.
He rode Supercross during preseason just to get a feel for it because he had never really rode like a full-blown Supercross track.
Yep.
But I literally think since like December, he's been doing outdoor motos. And he's been bouncing back and forth between that and riding a 450.
So what does he do? I mean, he was good last year.
I mean, dude, he came out of Budds Creek and ran top 10.
I was going to say, he ran top 10 last year. So what does he do this year?
I honestly believe, and I'm going to get, I feel like this is just a theme. I'm going to get shit out in the comments for this. He's going to have a better season than Voland, Mosman, and Smitty by a long shot.
Probably.
Because I feel like he could be, if we're totaling those guys as the best of the rest, he has the best chance to be inside the top 10 out of him, Smith, Voland, and Mosman. Because Guillaume Ferez just kind of, he doesn't really have any, like, next level things about him, but he also really doesn't have any, like, deficiencies. Okay. He's just kind of there. And that's not a derogatory thing. He is just a solid dirt bike rider. So I don't think he can compete with RJ and Hammaker and Kitchen. Will he have his moments where he can run top 5 and get to start? Yeah, because he's just really fast. But he has the best chance outside of those 3 guys I just said to be top 10 in points. Okay. I really think that because I just think he's just solid. Like he doesn't really have any big issues. And now he's going to be adapted to the American lifestyle because that's the thing. I don't think up until last year he had ever actually set foot in America in his life.
Well, and he saw all these tracks last year, so he's got to step up in that direction there. So, All right. So that was our best of the rest.
So my question on the best of the rest is,
Okay.
and I think you already made the comment, but I'll just ask it again, but I think this really only applies to RJ, Kitchen, and Hammaker. If we kind of believe that J-Mart is going to be the worst, and once again, worst is a relative term out of the big five, say J-Mart just starts having issues, and he kind of slides out of being that fifth place, that top five guy. Out of RJ, Hammaker, and Kitchen, if all three are dialed in and they're good, which one out of those three can you see vaulting themselves into the top five?
I think RJ.
Okay. And I think you already answered that question. See, I'm going to go with Seth Hammaker.
Okay.
I think RJ has proven it enough.
Yeah.
But I think it is more likely that Seth gets his bad juju gone than RJ just learns to stop sending it.
Okay.
But once again, this is all banking on the fact of if J-Mart just...
kind of starts to fall off a little
which...
bit. Who knows?
He's not going to be J-Mart, but it's hard to say that he's just going to suck.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to get into our last 4 riders here are rookies.
Which one of them is a true rookie, but he's not even really worth talking about, but, we got to be nice.
Which one of the... You know what? Let's just start with Jet Reynolds.
I like how you, pause and you're like, yeah, let's just talk about him.
Let's just talk about Jet Reynolds. So, does he make
1919, the first round.
Does he make it through 3 rounds?
I think he makes it the whole season.
Okay. Does he break inside the top 20?
Yeah. Does he break inside the top 15? No. Nope. Not a chance in hell.
It's like, it's crazy.
And
it's nuts.
And here's the crazy thing too is what you got to remember is if he does the whole season. So think about, we're gonna have Pierce Brown at some point, and I'm just stating fact here. At some point, don't know when, but say Jet Reynolds does ride the whole season. At some point, he's gonna have to race these people. He's gonna have to race Pierce Brown. We didn't even talk about the other guy that's been testing for TLD, but it's not worth it because it's not confirmed. Caden Braswell. Caden Braswell is. I mean,
it's basically confirmed, but it's not confirmed yet,
I would say Caden Braswell at this point is faster than Jet Reynolds.
Yeah, I don't have any data to go off with that, so I don't.
We just know with amateurs how good he was at the end of the year, and he raced Hayden Deegan, whatever.
Yeah.
Caden Braswell. I did see this. Ty Masterpool is still going to be riding outdoors.
Okay.
So Ty Masterpool we know is very, very good.
Yep.
He's still going to have to race Derek Kelly and Josh Faries. We know both of those guys rip outdoors.
Yep.
At some point, we're going to see Faulkner. At some point. We know how good Faulkner is.
Yep.
At some point, unless something goes very, very wrong, we're going to see Cameron McAdoo.
Yep.
Who else we're going to see... It's crazy to say this, but I think this guy is faster than him. We're going to see Jalik Swoll at some point. It's Jalik Swoll, but I would say Jalik Swoll is faster than Jet Reynolds.
No, I'm there. I'm there.
So
I got to breathe heavy when I do that.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, I mean, dude, it
at some point, if all these guys are there, no one else gets hurt and goes out. It's like, yeah, who out of those guys does he beat? I mean, dude, we just saw him go to Texas for an amateur race and get spanked.
And here's the thing too.
So it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
And I know these guys aren't racing outdoors, but think about if the Bar X boys were racing with Derek Drake, and think about if Hep was doing it with Dylan Schwartz.
Yep.
Like, dude, I mean. This is going to be the worst outdoor season ever by a factory guy.
This sounds like we're shitting on him, but it's like,
We've
dude,
been
there's
right
just
since day one.
nothing. There's just nothing there.
And think about at some point after Loretta's, which I still believe that one of these guys is going to be pro at Paula, but it may be after Loretta's. Think about when Dax and Juju go pro. They're faster. They clearly have already raced this kid, and Finus is going to go pro at some point this year. I know Parker. I know whatever. I call him Finus.
That's completely wrong. Like, you are completely pronouncing his name wrong, and I know this because Daniel Blair pronounces it.
People around here used to
and
call
Daniel Blair's his boss. I don't care what people say.
Look, man, I'm going to call him Finus. Parker Ross.
Still Phineas.
I'm going to call him Finus.
Still Phineas.
Parker Ross has beat him.
This is like my kid calling my crutches crankers. They're still crutches, no matter how many times you call them crankers.
Look, man, you know what? Daniel Blair could be wrong.
He's literally his boss.
I
think if anybody knows how to pronounce his name...
He's on the gas side. He doesn't care about him.
Oh, my God. Okay.
So, I mean, he probably really doesn't care about him.
Actually, he talks about him quite frequently. Thinks he's going to be good.
Well, I mean, he's all right. Yeah, so there's gonna be a lot of guys that are gonna be better than Jet Reynolds. It's gonna really shock me if he does anything at all. So
I mean, this is just one of those things of like when you're not built as a durable athlete coming up through amateurs there, this is what happens when you get on big bikes. You hit the ground and you break, and that's what's happened with him. Like at this point it's just I mean, he didn't make it through his first Supercross practice. He made it 2 laps, and then he hasn't raced in outdoors. And I mean, dude, it's unreal. It's just unreal of the luck. And I mean, it's crazy to me that like, and they've talked about this too. We was talking about this of like, if you'd have gone back 4 years and said, oh yeah, Jet Reynolds will do nothing on a big bike, you would have been laughed out of every single conversation you were talking about. And now at this point, it's like, Jet Reynolds might never do anything on a big bike.
Well, I mean, you could say, and we're going to talk about his teammate in this next part, those 2 guys were touted to be the next big thing. Mm-hmm. Like, it was AC years ago, then it was Forkner, and then it was supposed to be Jet Reynolds, and then it was supposed to be Ryder D.
And
they were supposed to carry the torch for AC and Forkner.
Have I ever told you about how long Jet Reynolds' monster deal was?
Yeah, it's like 10 years.
10-year deal.
Yeah, which is crazy to me.
Fucking real.
Closest thing, and I said this when we talked about this on the show, the closest thing I'd ever heard was when Jesse Nelson was his Red Bull deal, but I think that was only like 6.
Yeah, dude, it's
fucking dumb.
Crazy. And that's what's carrying Jet right now is he has that long-term monster deal, which has to be up soon.
It's got to be, because that had to go back to 65s.
Yeah, so
and
it's
he's
like...
been on 65s for quite a while now.
So it's like... And at this point, it's like, what happens to him? Like, he's just... He got chewed up and spit out before he even was. Sucks.
Yeah, I don't know. It does. It sucks because the kid is still talented. He's still very fast on a dirt bike, but man, it's just going to be a struggle bus because here's the thing. Outside of him ripping a whole shot and a lot of dudes stacking up in the first turn, I see no path at all.
He's one of those...
this kid to get a top 5.
He's one of those, if he gets a top 10, I'm going to really be like, whoa.
Yeah,
that was a good ride.
He had to have like channeled everything he has in his talent.
Yeah, like he's one that has the potential to be a big surprise this year if he even gets in the top 10.
But like I said though, out of the rookies on this list, he's the 4th guy. So it's like you have a hard time believing it's even possible.
Yeah. So moving on to his teammate here, Ryder D.
I think Ryder D is going to have a pretty good season.
Ryder D will be one of those guys that floats around.
Because, I mean, he was top 10 last year in some of the races he had.
This is going to sound disrespectful, but I'm going to put him like 10 to 15 place guy.
I mean, I think it's fair, though, when you think about all
when
the guys.
When you think about everybody else,
is.
including the next 2 we're going to talk about rookie-wise, yes.
And I mean, when you also look at the fact of all those names that I said, and, like, you start thinking about the privateers like Derek Kelly and Ty Masterpool, like, still beating, like, that's good. Like, when you go to talk about those guys are, like, could be outside the top 15.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, that's where I pencil him in at is like a 10th to 15th place guy. He's good.
Yeah.
And I'm happy that he has a deal moving forward here because he's kind of gotten yanked around here. And I think that just speaks
gas,
to...
by the way, everybody.
Yeah, and I think that just speaks to the divide there that we're starting to hear rumblings of between like Team Green and Mitch.
Yeah.
As to what's been kind of going, because we all kind of question like, what the hell's happening with Ryder D? Like, is he pro? Is he not pro?
Yeah,
he doesn't have a pro deal.
Again, and he didn't ride, and Hymas and D. Well, then you look at that team next year, and like that team is going to be Joe's leaving, going into Honda. Mm-hmm. He's going to Gas. Jet Reynolds will probably be off the team, so then that leaves Kitchen's moving over. It's going to be McAdoo, and who fucking knows what Forkner's going to do? And Hamaker.
Kitchen, McAdoo, Forkner, and Hamaker. That's
we don't know Forkner. I still, until 2024 rolls around, I don't believe anything anybody says about Forkner because I don't know what's going to happen with him.
I don't know.
He's going to be out of Kawasaki. But is that going to be a Pro Circuit 250 again, or is it going to be a factory 450 and then it's going to be see ya? Because like I said, all these people can say all these things throughout 2023, but that is the one dude that I don't care if Steve Mathis was telling me to my face, I'm not going to believe it until I see it.
Yeah.
Because there's too much shit around him.
Yeah.
But I think Ryder D will have his moments. I think there's times where he can be in the top 10 in some motos.
Yeah, I think he'll battle up there. He'll get a start or something.
But it's going to be tough, man. When you're looking at Voland and Mosman and Smitty being like, okay, it might be tough for them to crack the top 10. Mm-hmm. It's going to be tough for Ryder D.
I hope he's got like 10. A 3-year deal with Gas there, so he can really get into the pros and like get his feet wet the first year.
He's a good rider, dude. Yeah. He's good. He's got talent.
Yeah, but he's one of those guys that's going to take time to develop him here into a.
I mean, he's still young too.
Good pro.
Still young.
Yeah.
I think he's 17,
something like that. Like 17? Not very old.
Yeah, 17. So, I think he's going to have his moments, but yeah, man, it's going to be 10 to 15, and I would actually slide closer to 15 than 10.
I'm not on him of like his career is in the toilet before it gets started. No. I'm just on the train of much like a Volan. He needs time to develop.
If he gets his shit together and he gets the right guidance, he could definitely be a top 5 guy consistently in his future in the 250 class.
So, all right, moving on here. So Honda's other 250 guy here, Chance Hymas. What do you think is going to happen here? Because we saw Hymas and Deegan race the last 2 last year.
And we saw Hymas in Supercross, and he was better than we all thought.
Yep.
So, man,
is he one of those guys that battles in like say the 6 to 12 range here?
Which, dude, this is the hardest thing for me because that 6 to 12 range is so wide open.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you got to ask yourself, okay, just run down the list of guys. Do you think he can beat RJ?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you think he can beat Kitchen? Do you think he can beat Hammaker? So now you start going, okay, that's 3 dudes right there. That's 6, 7, and 8.
Yep.
Okay, so now you go Volan, Smitty, and Mosman. Okay, Mosman, yeah, because Mosman's probably going to have a rough year.
Yep.
Okay, Smitty, yeah, probably because Smitty's going to do Smitty things. So then you look at Volan and you're like, if Volan is actually like focused and dedicated,
that's a tall order.
That's a tall fucking order only because Volan has already showed us that he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like I said, you start talking about all these guys coming back. Pierce Brown coming back. McAdoo, Faulkner. You know, I mean, I would love to say it because I like Hymas. I'm not as on board with Hymas as you when we started talking about Hymas and Kitchen and all them. Just because he's a Honda guy, I like the fact that that Weimer helps him. When Hymas rides, he reminds me a lot of Trey Kennard. His technique is very similar. But man,
he's gonna come in super prepared because he only did was it 3 or 4 Supercross.
Daytona was his last one,
yeah.
So 3, right?
I think 4. I don't remember
3,
4, something like that.
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah, 4. Yeah.
So like he's gonna be prepared, but I don't know.
It's tough.
Okay. I do like the way they're developing him though.
Yes,
here
they're
with
doing
doing
it
a
the
few
right way.
Supercross, and now we're gonna go full outdoor season.
Then we're gonna
and
do
we did
full
like the
Supercross
last
next
2
year.
Yeah.
All right, so is 50-50? He's a consistent top 10 guy.
Yeah, pretty
50-50?
much.
Okay.
This is what we've been running into the last few years with 450s. It is just so deep that at some point you got to like cut it and be like, look, this guy's great, but he's just going to be a 10 to 15th place guy, you know? So I think he's one that he's going to be floating around that top 10 most of the year. And honestly, I think if he can be in the top 10 more often than not, he should really, barring a bunch of injuries like we've seen with the 450 class, I think he should consider that a good year.
What do you think his ceiling is when everything is clicking for him?
6 to 9?
No, I mean just in a moto. If everything's clicking and everybody else is feeling it, what do you think his
6 to 9?
6 to 9. Okay.
I don't really see him. There's just so many dudes here,
which is a great problem to have.
Yeah, for him to get into the top 5, because I would love to say he could get a top 5. And again, it's one of those things. If he gets a top 5, like it's not going to really raise my eyebrows. I'm gonna be like, man, that was a good ride, but I'm not going to be like, whoa, holy shit, where'd that come from? Yeah, man, it's one of those things. It's like, man, you almost feel disrespectful, but it's just tough because there's so many guys in this class this year.
I'm gonna say 8th or 9th because it's really hard because if you start looking at best of the rest, RJ, Hammaker, and Kitchen, it's like, man, you got to be really fucking good to be either throwing. Good luck, man. Good luck because you're talking about all 3 dudes that have already been up front, know how to win motos, know how to lead laps. And that's the thing is you got to when you start like nitpicking these things, you really got to ask yourself. You start putting situations together, and you go, do you think if Hymas ripped a whole shot and he's got Hunter Lawrence and Joe Schmoda and Tom VL hounding him, do you think he could lead a lap? And I go, I don't know. Whereas like Kitchen's already done it, RJ's done it. Seth led Jet and Hunter for 15 minutes last year. You're like, do you think Hymas could do it? And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
So. Yeah, I agree. If he's in the top 10 more often than not, I think it's got to be a win for him. And I think having Weimer and Kennard in his corner, they'll tell him the same thing.
Yeah,
don't get hurt, dude. You got a long career.
Career. Yeah,
17,
something like that.
17.
He's young.
Yeah, same thing as Deegan and Ryder D.
Yeah, he's young. So it's like
you got a long career.
Do all the races. Like, get what you can. Make sure you stay in the top 20.
And depending on how closely he's still working with Weimer will tell him that because Weimer went through the same shit in his career. So
yeah, Hymas is one of those guys that again I think he's going to develop. I think he'll develop into a better rider than Ryder D.
You could be looking at a consistent podium guy if he gets his shit together, has the right guidance, which he does so right now.
So, all right, here we go. So episode 238. Let's talk about
and it's fitting that it's the last guy we talk about.
Well, I saved him for last year because I knew this was.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
We're not panicking.
I'm just kidding.
We're not panicking on this.
I'm just kidding.
Okay, but realistically here, we've seen, and I've been arguing with people in the comments here for weeks now. We've seen what he did outdoors last year for the last couple. Okay, he ragdolled himself in Ironman.
Which, hey, man, it's part of it.
It's part of it. Yeah.
He tried to do a section that was gnarly as shit.
That Hymas did. Have the video. Go look it up.
It's gnarly as shit. And everybody's like, well, he crashed. He crashed because he tried to
do an on-off in an outdoor.
Huck a section that not really much people were doing.
Yeah.
That's on him. That's part of racing.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, he got top 10 at Paula. Well, somebody brought this up. Well, the only reason he got 10th in that moto is because McAdoo went down in the last lap, which I totally forgot about.
Yeah.
He was running 11th, like a distance 11th, and then McAdoo went down. So it's like, yeah. And then, he's more prepared, this and that. And like, he's only ride outdoors.
And I'll give you
shit.
I will give you that. But now we have to go through here. And this is what I've been arguing with people. Supercross versus motocross speed.
There's a lot more guys that are better outdoor riders than they are supercross guys, and everybody that's making the obvious statement, well, he's only ridden outdoors his whole life, he does that. Yeah, so is everybody else, but here's the thing, and Travis made a comment of this. The kid's had a supercross track since he was on 65.
Yep.
His dad knew the game. They had been focusing people are like, oh, he's only been on a supercross track so long. For a lot of you Hayden Deegan fans that actually believe that, you're really not paying attention. The kid's been riding supercross since he was literally on 65.
Yes.
And he actually, first time he ever rode a supercross track, he was actually on a 50.
Yeah.
So, and he was also, no offense, he was kind of doing the amateur stuff against a weak field. Yeah. It wasn't deep. That's not taking anything away. Hayden Deegan was great. But guys, this is not supercross. The disparity in speed as outdoors is so much greater. J-Mart, two-time outdoor champ. J. Coop, guy who's won races at MX of Nations, battled the likes of Jet Lawrence and Hunter Lawrence. Hunter Lawrence, supercross champ, GP experience. Joe Schmoda, had Jet's number a lot. Tom Viel, two-time outdoor champ. All those statistics that I just read, those guys didn't have it in supercross.
I'm just going to say it for our clickbait here.
You're going to say the quiet part out loud?
I think outdoors is going to be much rougher for him than what supercross was.
And are you saying... Because I probably will agree with you. Are you saying rougher as a relative term as opposed to his supercross?
Yes. Okay. So I don't think you're okay. Dude. No, you're good. You're good. It's okay. I don't think you're gonna see him. How do I want to put this? I'll just say it. If he gets a podium, it'll raise my eyebrows.
Oh yeah,
real high.
I'll be shocked
like,
as hell.
Wow, that was a good ride for him.
I'll be shocked. Not to say that he doesn't have the talent to do it.
I'm not saying he doesn't have the talent, but here we are again. This is not Supercross.
No.
It's not the field split in half. This is everybody, including guys coming back here for the 250 class that were not there in Supercross.
And also you want, and here's the thing too, and I know it was the last round and he won the heat race, people are like, well, he got a bad start. Guys, getting good starts is part of racing a motocross and Supercross. Yeah. That's on you.
Yeah. So what do you think he is? We'll call it average for the year. Where does he slot in here?
I think I'm going to stand by my comment when we talked about this. I think his average is 9 to 12.
Okay.
Because like I said, you think about it, the big five, you got Hunter, Joe, Viel, J-Mart, J-Coop, then you talk about RJ, Levi, and Seth. It is very hard even for me to fathom that he could consistently beat RJ, Levi, and Seth.
Yep.
Because those dudes have already done it. That's the thing. RJ's already won motos. He's already proven he can run up front. Levi already beat Jet. He gave Jet everything he can handle at Southwick. Seth's already been there, done that, led the top guys. Hayden has not done that at an outdoor national yet.
And let's just put this out there for everyone. This is not saying that he will not get there eventually.
Oh, yeah, dude. He has the highest upside of all the rookies.
He's the best rookie, in my opinion, coming in out of these four. He has the highest upside. He has the highest trajectory.
Can he be a champion one day? Yes. A multi-time champion one day.
But we are talking literally for 2023. And, man, when you start looking, I mean, if we get the list of names, it's like, who does he beat out of these guys week in and week out? That's not saying he doesn't go out and get a top five. He doesn't yank a start, run up front for 20 minutes, and then fade to fifth because they've put 30 seconds on 5th place, so like he fades 30 seconds in the last 10 minutes. That's not saying that. That is saying that by the time you spread it out and average it over the whole season here, I just don't see how he ends up top 5 without a huge loss of talent going on here, as far as like people getting hurt.
Like I said, think about the fact that if you had a healthy Pierce Brown, Fortner, and McAdoo, now you're adding 3 more dudes.
Three more dudes.
So it's like, can Hayden Deegan get a top 5? Yes, of course he has the talent. Can he get a podium? Would Travis and me be surprised? Yes, but he has the talent to do it.
He has the talent to do it.
But here's the thing, and I ask even you hardcore Hayden Deegan fans, and this is not a shot. No.
And here come the comments.
It's fine. It's fine, but it's a valid question to ask. Even you hardcore Hayden Deegan fans, ask yourself, because you keep saying, and you blast us in the comment, oh, he's going to be really good. He can get podiums, this and that. What makes you believe he can beat Hunter Lawrence, a Supercross champion, a guy with GP experience that has battled for plenty of titles, Joe Schmoda, that, like I said, beat Jet Lawrence a few times last year when Jet was actually trying, a 2-time GP champion in Tom Viel, who has been there, done that, and there's no moment too big, J Mart,
2-time outdoor champion,
who has beaten the likes of Cooper Webb, Adam Cincerello, so on and so forth, and Justin Cooper, who once again
has battled with and beat Jet.
When Jet was in Jet mode. So it's like, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, what makes you believe, outside of the fact that you really like the kid, you like his family, you like his content, and you think he's really fast? What makes you believe he can beat those 5 guys consistently?
Week in and week out. And that's what we're talking about, is week in and week out. We're not talking one-off races.
Yes.
We're not talking like, hey, like I said, he yanks a start, he runs, he we'll call it leads the moto for 20 minutes before he like pumps up and starts to fade or whatever. I don't know. Like I said, you come into next year, we're having a completely different conversation about this.
Yes, and a lot of these guys are going to be in the 450 class year. So like next year, you're going to have to deal with Joe and Viel pretty much at that point.
Yeah, so, but we're talking for 2023 here, man,
And here's the thing, too, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. This kid yanks a holy. He's going to be so amped up. But once again, how is he going to react if he has the likes of Tom Viel hounding his ass?
Yeah,
how is he going to react? Because there's no proof to say that he can. Not to say that he doesn't have the mental fortitude and he eventually won't get there. Once again, what makes you believe that kid can handle pressure from Tom Viel for 35 minutes on an outdoor track?
Yeah,
there's just no data, and that's the part of life. You go by data. What has happened, and it's big in our sport. And not a lot of people. They're like, "What if? Shoulda, coulda, woulda."
And this is what I've been arguing with people in the comments when they're like, "Oh, he's so good at outdoors. He's so much better. He's so much better." And I'm like, "What were his finishes at the 2 outdoors last year?"
What would make you believe that if Hunter Lawrence is behind him at fucking Southwick, that he could handle that pressure for 35 minutes?
Yeah,
there's nothing. Oh, he won a bunch of titles in amateurs. Cool, man. Like, that doesn't matter when you go pro.
And I am here to watch this. Like, I'm all here about to track this, talk about him every single week.
Awesome to watch, because you definitely know they're going to shove it down our throat during the outdoor preview.
And here's the thing.
And it's warranted.
He's sendy.
He's going to send
he will not be scared to get in that first corner with people and try to yank it.
And he's also not going to be scared to run it in on people.
Nope.
Once again, here's the same thing. You know what? In a perfect world, the first moto of the year, him and RJ go 1-2 off the start.
Yep.
And those motherfuckers just send it. Because I'm here to tell you.
For 35 minutes.
Both of them are probably going to crash at the same time. I don't want that, but that's the thing, guys. Take out your bias against being a Hayden Deegan fan and be logical. What makes you believe he can beat those 5 guys?
Well, and to be honest, I mean, last year we were much harsher on him.
Yeah.
And we went and saw that freaking combine at Redbud and went, whoa.
He was really good.
He ripped Redbud last year. You know what? He might be, dude, Redbud might be one of those places, again, where he feels it because he did so well at the combine last year, and he gets a start and he just pulls something off.
The one thing we can say about Hayden Deegan, it's the same thing we can just say about RJ, is there's a lot of guys where in their situation we know, like, they're not going to go. We know if Hayden Deegan yanks a holy, that is going to be an entertaining time, whether it's from start to finish or for 5 minutes. It is going to be entertaining because even if that kid is fading, he is going to ride the widest fucking bike.
He's going to ride the wheels off that thing. And I'll say this here as far as we go through this season. I think you're going to see his outdoor season a lot like his Supercross season.
It's going to progressively get better.
I think he's going to progressively get better as the year goes on. It would not surprise me by the time we get to round 9, 10, 11 if he is a 5 to 10th place dude.
For
easy.
Sure.
But I think these first few rounds,
I'll say till round 5 till we get to Redbud.
I think the first 5 rounds you're going to see. I'm going to go a 6th to 12th place guy.
Yep,
Okay.
I can see that.
For most motos there. Overalls, who the hell knows, because it's going to be so mixy-matchy.
Whatever.
But I'm going to say moto finishes, he's going to be like an average of 6th to 12th place here through the first 5. And then I think you're going to see it, like I said, progressively get better till we get to the last 3. And then when we get to the last 3, I think you're going to see, just like with Supercross, like, man, it progressively got better and better and better and better. You're going to see that.
Here's the one thing I think he's going to have an advantage, and that's just not because of Star, just because of who his dad is, having the resources and the money. He's ridden already a lot of these tracks already.
Yes.
Obviously, we know he's ridden Paula.
Yep.
Being a California kid, he rode Hangtown probably a lot of times for areas or regionals.
Yep.
I assume at some point they've been to Thunder Valley.
Yep.
I know they've been to High Point.
I don't know about the Thunder Valley.
Thunder Valley would be the one. There's one.
I'm not sure if they've done that, because like I was kind of tracking the vlogs the last couple of years. I don't think they've been there.
So I know they've been to High Point.
High Point, yeah.
They've been to Redbud. They rode Southwick a lot of times, not even on pro day. They went there for a lot of areas.
Yep.
It's okay. So Millville, I think they've been to Millville.
I don't remember.
Washougal is the one track that I don't think they've been to yet.
Yep. And they've been to Ironman.
They've been to Ironman. They've been to Unadilla, and they've been to Budds Creek. So okay, you take out of the 11 rounds.
But Dilla, they haven't rode the pro track.
No, but still, I mean,
yes.
the track, the dirt, the soil, it's
similar.
Yeah.
We'll go
so
with that.
you've been to 9 of the 11 rounds. That's the one thing he's going to have in his back pocket.
Yep.
That some of the other guys, like Ryder D, has not been to some of these races. Hymas has not been to some of these tracks.
Yep.
He's going to have in his back pocket. Realistically, what is his best finish? And you can even say at the end of the season when he gets shit figured out, what do you think?
I'm going to go with 5th.
I agree.
That's where I'm going to go. He tops out. Now, again, he could get a podium, and I could be like, man,
I wouldn't
dude,
just because he's good. Great
ride.
And you know what? We'll be the first to praise him the next time on the show.
Yep.
Good for him, because the kid is too damn talented that if he got a podium, you'd be like, holy shit. Well, it's like, well, he's talented, so it's like, yeah.
But I'm gonna keep my expectations tethered here as we go into the season, kind of like we did with Supercross, and then at the end we went, wow, we underestimated what he was gonna do, and maybe we're doing the same thing by the time we get to the end. And I'm sure in the comments here we're gonna get blasted for eating crow, but
I think for outdoors though, it's a little bit more valid because of the accomplishments of the guys going into outdoors.
Yeah.
Because like I said, does it surprise anybody that he was better than J. Martin Supercross? No. Does it surprise anybody that he was better than Vial in Supercross? No. But once again, he wasn't better than Hunter. Mm-hmm. He wasn't better than Nate.
Yep.
And him and Smitty went back and forth, but for the most part, Smitty has number. He just did better in points. And does it really surprise anybody that he was better than Max Anstey in points in Supercross? No.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, did we eat crow? Yep, we admit it. We ate crow. We were fucking wrong.
We put out a video. We underestimated his Supercross.
But the
speed.
thing about outdoors is you're dealing with guys that are much more accomplished in outdoors as opposed to Supercross.
Yep.
Like I said, if he gets a podium, wouldn't shock me. But I think his best finish is going to be 5th, and I think for most of the season he's going to be 9 to 12. And then I think as we get past Redbud, we get past Southwick, I think he'll inch his way into being like 6 to 10. But man, if all those 5 guys are on it the entire season, it is very hard for me to think he could beat those guys.
100%. I'm right there with you. It's like, man, it's when you start going down the list of names there, and it's like, which one of these guys is he going to
take off? J-Mart is the one guy, and we've agreed on this, that just because
they could fall out of the big 5 into the best of the rest.
Yeah. So since we gave our title picks, last 2 questions, then we'll wrap this up. We didn't need to do it with the 450, so we don't have enough guys. Who will be the biggest surprise out of who we've talked about, and who do you think will be the biggest disappointment? And I say once again, and I've used this term a lot, in relative terms, in the sense that maybe has a lot of pressure on him or has done well in the past that just maybe doesn't live up to it. So, biggest disappointment, who do you think will be? Dude. And I don't think, I don't think it's I think it's fair, because any one of these guys could just fall on their face.
Biggest disappointment, I think, is going to be Jeremy Martin.
Okay.
I think there's, like I said, it's just he's not the Jeremy Martin of 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, fudge, he's fallen a long ways here, you know, and again, I think he's going to be good, and he can win motos, and he can be on the box and stuff like that. But man, it's going to be a tall order for someone of his age. So I think there's just going to be that kind of like, you know, we really expected him to be this outdoor warrior, and like, it's okay, but it's just not. It's not there.
I'd agree with that. As much as that pains me to say, and trust me, guys, it really pains me to say, I fucking love Jeremy Martin. I love that dude. I think it's going to be rough. It's going to be rough because I think those kind of like with AC. I think there's going to be times where those injuries are just going to flare up, and he's going to be like, no mas.
Yep.
And he does, look, Jeremy Martin doesn't have anything to prove to anybody anymore at this point. That dude has been solid his entire career. Yes, has his Supercross career been way up and down? Yes. Dude still has 5 main wins. Mm-hmm. So for a guy that has really bad rounds, he still has wins. He's been solid.
Yep.
Biggest surprise. And it can be, once again, anybody. It can be anybody.
Dude, I think I don't know.
That one's a little tougher.
Question. You go first. You tell me who you think your biggest surprise is gonna be.
So I don't know if this will be a biggest surprise, and I think if you listen to comments I've just made, I think you could see where this is going. I think it's gonna be Seth Hammaker.
Okay.
Is it a big surprise? But that's my question. Do you think it's a big surprise?
That's a big debate. Is like out of these guys that have like won motos and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like is it
right.
really considered a surprise?
Then no. Then that's not fair. Max Voland. Because I think Max Voland is going to be dialed in this year.
Okay.
I think Voland is going to be a big surprise. And you can take however you want to with big surprise, but I think Voland, even though I think Hammaker out of those guys would be the next to jump into the top 5 if one of them goes out, I think Voland is going to have moments kind of like he did his rookie year where we go, holy shit, this kid is uber fast. I think it's going to be Voland.
Okay, so my big surprise here, I think my big surprise is going to be how non-dominant Hunter's going to be out of the big 5.
Expand.
So
I think I have an understanding what you're saying.
You look at like Supercross there, and it was like, man,
won every round but one.
Yeah, I was gonna say it didn't really matter what happened. He would get to the front, whatever.
He was kind of Jet Lawrencing around there for a little bit.
I don't think you're gonna see that with outdoors. I think it's going to be a bit rougher for him to be that much of a dominant person.
So basically what I'm getting is even though you think he's going to win the title
and he's going to be good,
you think it's going to be more he wins the title because he's just more consistent?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what I'm going to go with there.
All right.
So
I can see that. So then you probably think like he's going to get like 4 overalls at most.
Yeah.
And he's just going to get some moto wins here and there, but then the other motos he could be like 4th.
Yeah.
Which
I'm gonna go with something like that.
Right.
It's just gonna be. It's not going to be Supercross domination like he just had, where he won 2 rounds early and was just clearly far and away the best guy.
And I mean, also let's think about it. There could be motos where he's just the 4th best guy. Mm-hmm. Like there could be motos where he gets a 5th place start and he just passes J Mart or J Coop or Vial or Schmoda, and that's as far as he goes.
I mean, look at his history at Southwick. It's not great.
No. I mean, look at his history. It's like multiple rounds.
Yeah. So
yeah, no, I totally believe that. And
I think that's going to be the biggest surprise is like how he wins the title more out of consistency than supremacy,
which would be wild too. Because if you look at the last couple of years in the 250 class, the guy who's won the 250 title has been fairly dominant, I would say.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Jet last year. 2021 was debatable because J Coop and J Mart, but still Jet won a lot of races. Dylan was very dominant in 2020. Mm-hmm. AC was very dominant in 2019. AP, I wouldn't say was really dominant, but he won a lot of races. I mean, that would kind of be a change.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you got to say that for like I think the same thing about Vial though.
Yeah.
I mean, if Vial wins the title, I could only see him winning 5 overalls.
Yeah.
Because I mean, dude, there's just going to be days where those guys just one of them's not going to be the fastest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, 250s. Oh man, I'm excited for 250 class.
250 class is going to be good because it's going to be deep, and then the 450s is going to be good just to see those top 3 go at it.
Yep. Oh, one more little tidbit I guess we could put in there because I don't know if we were going to talk.